Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast of your favorite team in the Bay Area. And the Sharks win a game. 6 games into the season, they finally get their first win. Erik Karlsson just doing beautiful Erik Karlsson things. The Sharks are no longer winless. So we're going to talk about the Sharks win, how we got here, and then kind of take a nice peek ahead. And plus, it is Friday. 3 Fries of the Week is back, baby, and I think you know who's going to be number one. So all that and more, today's episode of Locked On Sharks.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I'm your host, JD Young, contributor to Fear the Fan and San Jose Hockey Now. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen as we celebrate the first win of the year. And we know that the team wasn't going to go 0-82 because that's just not plausible. But the Sharks finally win. It took an overtime, but they did it against a really good team in the New York Rangers. And before we get into this game and celebrate Erik Karlsson for being Erik Karlsson, I do want to let you guys know, of course, about today's episode being brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline's got you covered this season with more props, odds, and lines than before. BetOnline, where the game starts. Whew. Erik freaking Karlsson was a man on a mission tonight. And like if you look at, some of the fancy stats and stuff like that, and the Sharks got worked the first couple of periods, but the third period they really turned it on and took it to the Rangers, which is something we have not seen from this Sharks team all season long. And Erik Karlsson was the catalyst for the Sharks, and this is why you pay Erik Karlsson the contract that he has. And the work he did in overtime, we'll start with the overtime goal because that was, fighting off, I think, Panarin and just getting tripped, still has able to to push the puck over to Timo Meier, gets up, and Timo Meier brings it around the goal, and Carlson has a wide open net. But just great strength, and Panarin is an amazing player, so be able to do that to Panarin and set up Timo Meier to set yourself up for the game-winning goal. Whew. And it wasn't just that. Erik Karlsson tonight with the setting up the Couture goal with the great shot pass where it bounced, and then Couture was able to tuck it home on the power play in the first period. Nico Sturm had a breakaway because of a great Erik Karlsson pass, and Erik Karlsson for being the engine to this offense. And, we're not going to get this Erik Karlsson every night. So the nights that we do get it, where he is the best player on the ice, especially against a star-studded Rangers team, we have to savor, remember the avocado. Tonight, we had the ripe, beautiful Erik Karlsson, where you could just eat like a bajillion avocados together. So tonight was the perfect avocado Erik Karlsson night. So, great to see you from the Sharks again. I know I'm still very much in the tank for Bedard, et cetera, et cetera. But again, this team is not going to lose all 82 games. And tonight, seeing Erik Karlsson do Erik Karlsson thing was great. So before we kind of get going, let's look at how the Sharks lined up. Some big changes tonight, of course, and then we'll look at how the lines were, how they performed, and then go from there. So, of course, for the Sharks forward lines, we had the reunion of the Barabanov, Hertl, and Meier line, and they were really good tonight. And we'll get into that in a second. We also had Kunin, Couture, and Bonino. And then on the third line was Gadovich, Sturm, and Svechnikov. And then Nieto, then Lindblom, Lorentz, and Nieto. So Those were the 4 offensive lines. Barabanov, Hertl, Meier, they, especially in that third period, really, you could see the chemistry coming back with those guys. Actually, shot attempts, they tied. So it's 14-14. Actual shots for, they were down 5-7. They did give up a goal, but again, that third period where they really took it to the Rangers, and that's just something that we have not seen. That was the best period from the Sharks that we've seen all season. I know the bar pretty low there, but those guys have to be your catalysts. And I know we finally got on the, Timo Meier got on the score sheet in the overtime frame, but they keep doing what they're doing. The goals are going to start to come for those guys. So really, really great to see that line back together. And I don't think David Quinn should even think about breaking up that line, just because that is your best line, hands down. The other lines, for the most part, except for the Lindblom, Lawrence Nieto line, they all kind of got their lunch taken from them. But again, looking at the way this game started compared to how the game ended, where the Rangers come out and have 2 grade A opportunities the first 20 seconds of the game, and then multiple power plays for the Rangers to start the game in the first period. I think they had 4 power plays in the first period, but the penalty kill held strong. And, the Sharks kind of crawled back into this game. And that's something we haven't really seen from the Sharks this year, of whenever things go bad, can you crawl back into this game? And, they had to score the first goal. Rangers scored the next 2, but then Šimić ties it back up, and with a very, very nice goal. And kind of personal, or, that was a lot of Šimić just making that goal happen. But at the end of the third period, where this team would normally kind of lay down, they took it to a really, really, really good Rangers team. And like the shot attempts, the shots for were 13-2 in the third period in favor of the Sharks at 5-on-5. The Sharks gave up 2 shots in the third period in a tie game. Like, you just don't see that. If you look at all situations, because there was some 4-on-4 time there, it was 16-2. Like, the Sharks just took it to the Rangers, and we have not seen it from the Sharks team. Now, I don't expect this to be a jumping off point for the Sharks this is going to kind of change their season, but in what's probably going to be a lost season, it'll be nice to have these moments and these wins like this, where you can, enjoy it, because the losing can be very tiresome. So before we continue, we kind of dig into this game a little bit more, and then we'll get you guys ready for the weekend's games. And then, of course, it's Fridays, so the 3 Fridays of the week. Let's take a quick break, talk to you guys about our friends over at BetOnline. You guys know BetOnline is the number 1 source for your betting football with us, and now with the start of the new basketball season. So find the latest player developments, team matchups, news, podcasts, in-depth analysis on every game. As always, BetOnline remains your continued source for your sports wager information with live betting, which is super fun, especially if you got a gut feeling you think a team's going to win, even though they might be down. That's the way to go. You can win some money while rooting for a nice comeback. So they have up-to-the-minute scores for every sport out there. They're the fastest and easiest way to check on your favorite games and events. And you got baseball playoffs right now. You have MMA, you have boxing, golf. NBA has just started. Go Warriors. If you bet on the Warriors, you're probably going to win a lot of money. So head to the website today, or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts. Erik Karlsson. Just had to break out the Erik Karlsson jersey tonight for the background. So, yeah, so Sharks, again, like, they actually outshot the Rangers tonight, 27-23, and then a big thing for the Sharks tonight was their penalty kill. And I talked to John on the preview show where how this penalty kill was going to match up with this power play, and this Rangers power play is deadly. And we saw that tonight, just how they move the puck and how many shots they can get off. But penalty kill hung in there, especially they probably tested them few too many times, but again, the penalty kill remains perfect on the season. The power play got going tonight, so they did get that one goal, the Couture goal, off a great play from Erik Karlsson, where he starts on the left point, works it towards the middle to get a shot, and while he's doing that, it's like giving space for Couture to come in and clean up the shot rebound. So really great work from the power play there. Now the power play has 2 power play goals this season and 2 shorthanded goals, so we're perfectly balanced, as all things should be. But yes, whew. Let's keep digging back into some of these forward lines. So as you guys know, I've been tracking how the line's been utilized. I want, especially now with Benito on Couture's wing. So really want to see how David Quinn would utilize the offensive zone starts. The Couture Benito line actually did get the most offensive zone starts with 4. They had 2 neutral, but then 9 defensive zone starts. And if you're going to use Couture as your defensive zone guy, perfectly fine right there. And I know the Sharks probably aren't going to have as many offensive zone starts as they would in a normal game, just because for the first 2 periods of the game, they basically, especially the first period, they spent the entire period in their own zone, and then it kind of flipped out on them. But the Barabanov, Hertl, Meier line, pretty even. 3 offensive zone starts, 4 neutral zone starts, and 3 defensive zone starts. The eye of the Sturm line with Gadovich and Svechnikov, they had 1 offensive zone start, 3 neutral zone, and 4 defensive zone starts. So really interesting there, because that's now the 3rd line. And normally Quinn has been using that 3rd line with trying to get better offensive zone starts. So it looks like he's going to try to put them in more of a neutral, at least a more neutral setting. So, and I know, like I said, those guys, they only had 3 shot attempts and they gave up 8 shot attempts, but they made the most of it. Their actual shots for was 3-4. So when they didn't shoot much, but when they did, they got them on goals. So, and they did a pretty good job of quality there, because that line did have 3 scoring chances as well and 3 high danger chances. So they made the most of their opportunities there. So I like that Sturm. Nico Sturm's been a very, very good addition to the Sharks, and especially for the little amount of money that he's been being paid. So. And then finally, the Lindblom, Lawrence, Matt Nieto line actually had a positive game. So they had 7 shot attempts, 2 given up. Actual shots on goal was 3-1. And that line did score a goal. That was the Radim Schmidt goal as well. So 2 neutral zone face-offs to 1 defensive zone. So those guys are mostly kind of starting on the fly there. So I would be surprised, especially with the way the Sharks played in the second half of this game, if we see major shakeups from Quinn going into this weekend's games, unless they get blown out type of situation. But yeah, and then Reimer was stellar when he needed to be tonight, especially at the beginning of the game, holding things together until the Sharks got their footing. So all situations tonight, Reimer 21 of 23. So again, Sharks did a really great job. At one point, I think the shots were like 21-9 or something like the Sharks just were getting dominated in the shots department. So yeah, in the first period, it was pretty even. Sorry, it was 8-5 at all situations, and 13-4 in the second period. But then the Sharks really flipped the switch in that third period. But Reimer 21 of 22 saves. This is all situations. 6 for 6 on high danger chance saves. So Reimer just coming in clutch, as he's been doing all season long. Medium danger, 5. He went 4 for 5 and gave a goal there, and then 10 for 11 on the low danger. So his expected goals against was actually almost 3. And he only gave up 2 goals tonight. So James Reimer helping you win a game right there. And there was plenty. Barclay Goodrow had a great opportunity. Like, there was plenty of chances where Reimer kind of bailed them out, and that's what you use. This team, again, you have to win these little games on the edge and making a save here, making a save there, making a play here. That's going to be the difference for the team, especially since they're so talent deficient at the top end, other than Carlson, Meier, Hertl, those type of guys. So yeah, great win for the Sharks. Feel good about yourself. Congratulations to David Quinn getting that first win, especially against your old team. The David Quinn revenge factor. But I think the thing that was really kind of blew me away was just how dominant the Sharks were in that third period. And especially for a Stanley Cup caliber team like the Rangers, who, they played in the Eastern Conference Finals last year, and they're expected to be a player in the playoffs again this year, to really take it to them. And I know it's just a game in, middle of October, but that was a big thing for the Sharks here to really try to get something going. So if they want to try to salvage their season before it's a little too late, again, I don't think this is going to be like a huge catalyst moment where the Sharks start ripping off some wins here, but it's good to get one every once in a while. So before we finish up and we look ahead to the to the Devils in the Flyers games this weekend, do want to take a quick break, let you guys know about the game to game. So thank you guys for making Locked On Sharks your first listen today. Now for your second listen, go check out the Game to Game NHL. You got every moment, every top performance, every result. Locked On Game to Game covers every game from across the NHL with local analysis that only Locked On can deliver. So follow Game to Game on Locked On NHL, available on the Odyssey app, YouTube, or wherever you get podcasts. All right, so the Devils and the Flyers. We'll kind of run through these guys really quick. So we'll start with the Devils, sorry. They have been a little shaky to get things started this year. I think they are winning as I'm recording this. I think they're winning right now. They did win tonight against the Islanders, so they're 2-2. They lost to the Red Wings, and they lost to the Flyers 5-2 in both those. But then they beat the Ducks 4-2, and they beat the Devils 4-1. We know with the Devils, it's all about their young guys, right? You have Jack Hughes, he's pretty good. Alexander Holtz, pretty good. Jesper Bratt and Nico Hischier, very, very talented young forwards that they're starting to get going now. Goaltending has definitely been an issue for this team, though. Mackenzie Blackwood has struggled so far to start this season, and then Vanacek hasn't done that great as well either. So, I think with the Sharks, if they want to, you need to continue to get shots on. You need to outshoot the Devils, and as dumb as that sounds, but got to try to contain their forwards, right? And then you got to try to get as many pucks as you can on Blackwood or whoever the goaltender. Mackenzie Blackwood has an .864 save percentage in 2 games tonight. So far this year is not that great. So much better night against the Islanders. He did but it was 17 of 16, so he had .941 save percentage tonight. But so the key, try to get as many shots as you can on Blackwood. Again, Blackwood, especially with the volume, doesn't handle that really well. We against the Flyers, they had 24 shots on goal and he saved 20 of them. So try to get as much volume. Their power play is definitely struggling, which is something that you would not expect from a team loaded with so many star type of players. But yeah, that is kind of been their issue there. So you would think with the Sharks penalty kill being as good as it is, you should be able to win that battle. So if you can win that battle, take advantage on the penalty kill, and then try to get as many shots, or take advantage on the power play. If you can get one on the power play, and then take as many shots as you possibly can. Try to keep generating offense like you did in the third period against the Rangers. That's your recipe for success against the Devils. So And then when it comes to the Flyers off to a pretty surprising start this year. I mean, a lot of people had them picked as one of, kind of bottom of the basement. Again, still very early in the season. They're coming off a loss to the Panthers, where they were playing I believe they were on a back-to-back again. So they went, so far this year, they have had Canucks, Devils, where they won 5-2, beat the Canucks 3-2, beat the Lightning 3-2, and then lost to the Panthers 4-3. And so they're going to be on the second game of their back-to-back as they play the Predators in Nashville, then flying home. So both these teams are going to be on the second game of back-to-back. So probably have a kind of a sloppy game, to be honest, between these two teams, especially where they're both traveling and then playing on the second game of a back-to-back. And Flyers, Tortorella, they're going to be very kind of hard-nosed team to play against. I watched the Panthers game, and basically after every whistle, there was a scrum between the two teams. But they've been kind of making their hay on their they've been their power play has been pretty decent year. They're at 25% right now. I think they have a power play goal in every game, so it's gonna be a big test for the Sharks penalty kill. But and then with their goals, I mean, they're middle of the pack right now in the season for their goals against. They have 3.5 goals a game. Again, I know it's a short season so far this year. Not too much to go with, but I think though their penalty kill has struggled a little bit to begin this season. Yeah, they're at 78% penalty kill. I know, again, small sample size, et cetera, et cetera. So this is a team where, again, I think special teams are going to be kind of playing a big factor with it. They're very similar to the Sharks so both teams are around the same when it comes to actual shots per game. They do give up a lot of shots, so this could be another chance for the Sharks offense to kind of generate some more shots and be able to, hopefully get some more sustained offense. So I think it's gonna be a pretty sloppy game, honestly, between the two teams. And then for the Flyers, again, they're kind of in a weird transition year where they have a lot of guys that you're not too sure about their future. Carter Hart's been playing better this year, but it's just a lot of guys that you're kind of like, oh yeah, that guy or that guy. I mean, James Van Riemsdyk kind of getting up there. You have Travis Konecny, Kevin Hayes, like a good old friend Justin Braun. So kind of a weird team right now where they don't really know if they're going to try to rebuild or if they're going to try to win as many games as they possibly can. So I think with Tortorella, they're in the win as many games as they possibly can with this ragtag team. So we shall see how they go. So I know Sandstrom played against the Panthers, so I would assume we'll probably see Hart against the Preds, and then probably Sandstrom against the Flyers would be my guess. So probably, I think maybe a Sandstrom Capo Kakinen goalie matchup for that Saturday. So for the Sunday game, and I assume we'll see Reimer on Saturday against the Devils. So just kind of a quick overview with those two teams. And now it's everybody's favorite segment, the 3 fries of the week. Third fry, the eye of the storm, Nico Sturm. It's been a great addition. He had 2 goals in 2 games, almost had a third goal in 3 games. Moved up from, category 4C, and he's now category 3C, Nico Sturm, which is weird because 5 is more dangerous. Anyway, just go with the joke. So category 3C, Nico Sturm. He's been one of the Sharks' most kind of consistent producers so far this young season. It's been a really solid signing for the Sharks, and it's really helped to solidify that bottom 6, especially that 4C, now 3C role for them. So, his press conference he had after the Islanders game, like super kind of raw and emotional about like it sucks what they're going through, and he's been going out there and he's been their like I said, he's been their most consistent forward. So yeah, Nico Sturm, third star, third fry of the week. Second fry of the week, James Reimer, absolutely just keeping the Sharks in a lot of these games. I know he gave up 4 goals against the Islanders, but the Islanders outshot the Sharks by like 20 shots in that game. And there was none of those goals where you're like, oh yeah, Reimer. Maybe like one where Reimer probably wants to save there, but still, James Reimer has been absolutely amazing for the Sharks, and worth every penny of that contract that they signed him to. And Erik Karlsson is, of course, the number one fry of the week. Goal and assist in their win against the Rangers. Amazing play to help to kind of set up Timo Meier to set himself up for the game winner. And this team is going to go kind of how the Stars go. And if Erik Karlsson can be the ripe avocado more nights than not, then the Sharks might actually win a few games here and there. So, but yeah, Erik Karlsson, when he's feeling it, he can still be the best player on the ice. And even against a star-studded team like the Rangers, who have, Zibanejad and Panarin and, Barclay Goodrow, Shesterkin, et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah, good for Erik Karlsson. Great job by him. So that's going to do it for me tonight. Try to do something live over the weekend. We'll see. Maybe we'll do something after the Barracuda game on Saturday night. Yeah, so we'll try to do something then. So make sure you guys are following along. But before you do that, go check out the Locked On Fantasy Hockey podcast. Steal and Flip got you guys covered for everything you need to have the fantasy edge and keep you ahead of the competition with daily updates on news, analysis, and advice Monday through Friday. They're also available on YouTube, Odyssey, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow the show on the social medias on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Locked On Sharks. Download wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Odyssey, all those places. Subscribe on YouTube, especially we'll do like live shows. That'll be YouTube's exclusive. So go check those out. We have new thumbnails now. So the Locked On, it's got new thumbnails coming out, and the NHL actually got them first, which is, I know, kind of surprising. But so go check us out on YouTube. Make sure you guys, if you're watching now and you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. Really appreciate it. Leave a comment, like, all that fun stuff. So you can follow me on Twitter at myfryhole. Be back on Monday with a full breakdown of everything that happens this weekend. And again, keep an eye on the YouTube. Maybe we'll do something fun on Saturday night. So until then, bye, friends.